Alright guys, welcome back on board for another U-Boat late night stream. And yeah, you see I paused the game for starting the stream because we are in a critical situation. Let's briefly remember. So, we are already 3 years in the war. It's October 42 and we are out here on the American coast having the support of these resupply submarines, these bulky submarines where we can get fuel and torpedoes and food after the long voyage over the pond, and when we have used up everything. And this is what we did. So we have long reached the particular mission goal, and well, we also sank 2 more ships right yesterday, which brought us actually above the 200,000 tons limit for Operation Drumbeat. So the only thing now is we have to get out alive. There was a relatively large convoy coming in and we infiltrated it sneakily and were able to fire torpedoes on 2 ships, and we sank both of them. Only point is that it is pretty shallow around here. The map says between 50 and 100 meters, and that's actually it. Now we have to get away sneakily. Mr. Schneider, please take part in the damage control. And yeah, we are down to 50 meters and just trying to get away. We might still try to sink another one of them, but yeah. Let's see that we get deeper. Maybe we can put ourselves just onto the seabed and hope that they would not recognize us. We are so shallow. Stop the engines. And there we are. Oh shit, we bounced off. We bounced off the ground. Please get us down. Get us down. Okay. Now here we are. And now pray that they don't recognize us down here, because we are a sitting duck. We couldn't do any evasive maneuvers now. Air quality is down to 80%, which is still alright. So let's send the 2 officers on command station. Ah shit, why can't I put this one? So that's sometimes a bit weird. At the moment I can't send the captain to the command station. Just in case. No. Here we are. And there's loads of enemies up there. Let me give you a brief impression of what's going on up there on the surface by using the cinematic view. So that is the guy which is sinking. there are quite a few frigates around, so that guy, I'm not quite sure, maybe I didn't mark that one on the map. Did we even sink 3 ships? Yes, I think we did. 1, 2, 3, probably. And at the moment it pretty much looks like they have no idea where we are. They're just moving on. So if we stay down here sneakily, that one is circling at the completely wrong position, which is very good. There's one more guy far out there. Yeah, he is going for us. Let's hope that he is not gonna detect us. So three dikes actually. Let's mark them, because at the moment it pretty much looks like we didn't get accounted for. Or let me see, it is Emperor Ability sunk, Aruna Abel sunk, and Hammond sunk. Yeah, okay, so we already have gotten accounted for all the 3 kills. That's fine. So now this is a bit about patience. See that we just let them pass above us silently, hoping for them not noticing us. Yeah, what's the status of the... Yeah, we fired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 torpedoes and scored quite a few hits. I think our hit ratio was relatively good, so yeah, look at that. Having fired 7 torpedoes and sunk 3 ships with it, that's not too bad. Food is fine. And yeah, didn't get any damage yet. And the discipline is still alright. It's going down now because down here we get a debuff in discipline for being hunted, for being deep, for having all the off-watch, most of the off-watch assigned to the battle stations, and for having neglected food preparation because we are on battle stations. Yeah, the stern torpedoes, if I remember right, they should still be full. Yep. Okay, that guy looks not very confident. Okay, let's briefly slip into the role of the bosun as we cannot do anything but wait anyway. And in this position that we are here, I would not dare to do time acceleration. Just a bit of water in the bilge, no leak, nothing critical. It's just that bit of water seeping through the gaskets. The deeper you go. Yeah, let's briefly slip into the ego perspective, which I really love. So look at this. Okay, that's buggy for some reason. Yeah, that's the operation center, and we have Mr. Forstmann at the helm, and Mr. Otto and Mr. Vogel, all crewmates, at the depth steers, and the officers supervising. Mr. Arles, our first engineer, Mr. Lamprecht, our captain, Mr. Hinrich, our first radio officer. Who else do we have? Mr. Schneider, second mechanic. Yeah. That's the captain's bunk. Maximum privacy on the submarine. Mr. Hinrich at the listening post at the hydrophone. Yeah, nobody manning the radio, of course. Now we are underwater. And the officers' mess and the officers' bunks. And here, guys, we are in the accommodations, comfortable accommodations of the crew. So these are the crew bunks in the fore torpedo room. Easy, guys. Looks like they're not knowing where we are. So you see I've switched on blue lighting, which means that we are on silent running, and people try to use the least possible oxygen. Yeah, more stuff here. Echo sounder, pump, and the hatch towards the petty officers' bunks. So guys, there are still a few guys on off watch. Now the galley at the moment not being used, and the engines quiet, silent now. The diesel engines, and here the electric engines also not running, and the stern torpedo tube together with the two air compressors, the diesel compressor and the electric compressor. These we need to refill our compressed air resources whenever we use the compressed air to empty our ballast tanks. So under these critical conditions, I used to keep the bulkheads closed. And back again from our little tour. And here, well, yeah, we could climb up into the conning tower. Yeah, we can't open that one. This is open sea up there. Periscope, but we are too deep now for the periscope. Some gauges and the torpedo calculator. You can turn on and off a flashlight. Hey, Oblivion! Great to have you in. So, from California, I understand. Wonderful. So I hope you're having a good Sunday. While here, Sunday is already through, and formally we are already on Monday. It's 12:30 around here. So I think you or sorry, Canada. Yeah. My mistake. Perfect. Well, at least not US American. Yep. Yeah, sorry for being a smart ass. Didn't mean it. Yeah, perfectly fine. Nice to have you in. By the way, speaking of smart assing, so to all of you guys in the stream, don't hesitate to do backseat driving. I really don't care. Don't regard any commands as backseat driving or even smart assing. Just always happy to get your opinion, by the way. Yeah, okay. So, Canada spreads also over 3 time zones, so I'm not quite sure what time you have over there, but yeah, probably early evening or something, I guess. Or late afternoon. Yeah, we need a bit of patience. Yeah, I wasn't sure when you wrote CA. I thought it might also be that. I think that's the official abbreviation for California, isn't it? There is still one guy far out there. What is he doing? Seems to be that he is going completely independent of the convoy. And the convoy is moving on. Seems like they have given up to pursue me. Under these conditions, maybe we could really do a little bit of time acceleration. So it's 4:15. Yeah, give me some contacts. That one is moving away. Moving away. Okay, these are those guys who are really far away. Oh no, not. They are still relatively close. They still feel to be too close to actually resurface.
Schraubengeräusch. Kriegsschiff. Peilung 110 Grad. Senken das Wrack. 170 Grad. Schraubengeräusch. Kriegsschiff. Peilung 135 Grad.
Moving away. Moving away, moving away, moving away. That's unclear, but I guess it's also moving away. Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I really couldn't see that. Yeah. I pretty much like this balancing in the game, that you don't have to do micromanagement, but that you can, as far as I could judge it, that you could really slip into the role of a captain who, yeah, orders things. So you could really go into the first person view like that, and start to walk around and do things by yourself. For example, go here and turn on the pump, which I wouldn't do right now because of the sound emission and the enemy is still too close. Or you could just get the mouse, click on it here from that view, and then the captain would just give you the order. Give the order, and any guy of the crew would turn on the pump. Yeah, I let them do that by themselves. You should really, yeah, well, I mean, you can't even tell them explicitly to eat. That's what they do by themselves anyway. There is no way or no setting in the game where you could really go into that micromanagement to tell each sailor or even each officer when to eat. You could tell the officers when they sleep, but you could also give them schedules. So what I do is actually having watch schedules. So I have separated the crew, I mean the crew hands, not the officers, but the hands, in 3 watch groups. And here I give the schedule for the times when morning shift is on watch. Well, I call it morning shift, but it's not quite correct. That's just the default name and I never changed it. So one shift doing 4 hours, then being for 8 hours on off watch, and then the next shift takes over and the next shift, and then the first shift comes again. Yeah, I'm a big fan of good old, O'Brien and Forrester, the old naval stories from the 18th century. So this is kind of based on the bells, right? Each watch has a watch length of 8 bells, being 4 hours. So I have 3 watch groups taking turns, and with this you make sure that the crew gets enough sleep. And then I have accordingly 3 watch officers, which is Mr. Arles, my first mechanic, Mr. Grade, my chief engineer, and Mr. Trummel, my bosun. And they also are assigned to certain shifts like that. So these 3 guys always take turns on shifts and automatically go to bed or off watch after 4 hours. Have off watch for 8 hours and then come back. And this is pretty great to do that manually like that. And well, like for the I have 2, because I already have upgraded in the game. I have the ability to have 2 radio men, and I have split them 50-50, 12 hours one, 12 hours the other. And then I have 1 additional technician who is completely off the watch roster, and he is mainly doing maintenance of the torpedoes. And Mr. Lamprecht, the captain, is also off the watch roster and just does what is needed. No, there is no difference what amount of time they need. I think that's just all the same. Hey, Quinton Jill, nice to have you in. Yes, perfect, and great to see you back in the stream on YouTube. So I just had a question here on the Twitch chat about the crew management. Yeah, that's how I do it. And in particular, generally you then can also set priority for the officers, like for the different action. Like for example here, Mr. Schneider has priority on the maintenance of the torpedoes and loading the torpedoes and repair, and not much else. And you can do the same for the crew. So the crew has its priorities, and you can give for the 3 different shifts a certain priority on dealing with certain things like the galley, like cleaning, observation, engines. So that's pretty tricky, and I would recommend that you either make a screenshot of my settings, well, not because I regard myself as being so omniscient and great, but because I could just tell that these settings worked all right for me, or you could check some YouTube videos where this is explained in detail. So this is what I do. Let me show you just for a second, so that if you like, you could make a screenshot of that one here, this, so you don't have it all on the screen, this and that. So once back, that was too fast maybe. When both radio men might be off watch, then some crewmates take over the radio position. I mean, your radio men are the officers, and when they are both taken out, because maybe they both must sleep, then the crew will man the radio. Only point is that the crew is not able to, they detect when messages come in, but they can't decipher it. So whenever headquarter messages come in, you then would have to wake up one of your radio men so that they actually decipher the messages. And yeah, you couldn't let a technician like, or the bosun. He's a disciplinary officer, and you could not send him to the engines, and you could not send him to the radio or the hydrophone. Hey, Lord of Choco, good evening, nice to have you in. How are you doing? So that's how I do it actually. Assigning schedules for watch groups and for the particular offices. Do prioritization for the offices and for the crew. And then what I always do, I particularly define these crew groups, these watch groups. But this is important. When there is something wrong with these watch groups, then the whole system kind of breaks together. At least it was like that in the past. Maybe at one point they might do something about it with a backup. But like, for example, if a sailor dies and you still have him in the watch roster, very weird things gonna happen. So the whole thing wouldn't work anymore. So you have to take care that this is actually updated. That's my experience. Yeah, there is the radio room and the hydrophone room, which you can only operate with the, like here, Mr. Preen and Mr. Hinrich. They are both radio officers or petty officers. And then there is the map, which can only be operated by the line officers, the captain and the bosun in this case. And there is the engines, which can only be operated by the technical officers, where I have 3 of them: my chief engineer, first mechanic, and second mechanic. That's the 3 different types of officers that you actually can hire. Yeah, might be a lot of Choco. Maybe it's not necessary to actually do that. It's, for me, it's just like, it works, and so I don't want to try something else. But it might be that it's perfectly fine also just without assigning the crew to the 3 groups. But as never change a running system, that's why I never did something about that. Hey, yippee up! Nice to have you in. Good evening. It's a pleasure to have you in again. How are you doing? How was your Saturday? Actually, all of you guys in the stream, quite a few now. Nice to have you in, and hope you had a good day, or still having a good day. Here at my place, the day's through, but probably a lot of you guys from Canada or US, you might still be in the middle of the day. Not quite the middle, but maybe evening, right? Early evening. Yeah, you see us here waiting out the passing by of the convoy. We have sunk 3 ships of the convoy after we had sneakily gotten into the convoy yesterday. And now we successfully hid away and just put ourselves onto relatively shallow ground. You see, it's just 70 meters depth here. And I put the boat onto the ground. And yeah, here we are. Yeah, okay, alright, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you said that you weren't well. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Pretty lazy weekend, which was great. Yeah, tomorrow. In principle, I still have the week off now, but I have to do a little bit of work at home. Things that need to be done before the start of work next year. No, not really. Actually, well, we are actually gonna celebrate with our neighbors. So, that couple and us. And yeah, just having dinner together and spend a nice and quiet evening and enjoy the firework at 12 o'clock, something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be raclette, actually. Don't know if this term is internationally understood, or if you know the habit. In all of your watches countries, but in Germany it's pretty popular. Well, it's actually originating from Switzerland. Okay, to be honest, I don't know that joke, I think. Come on, let's do a little bit more cinematic view to see what it's like up there. Still these guys pretty far away, but nobody else. They are really on their way. So I think it should soon be safe to get back to the surface. Hey, Matzak. There's nothing spectacular about the toilet, actually. I would say. We can slip into the role of, for example, of the bosun. Hey, what's the matter with the bosun? He's somehow stuck, is he? Let's open the hatch, close it again, and so we can even turn on the flashlights. So, well, anybody remembers the movie Trainspotting? There is this scene which is titled Most Shitty Toilet of Scotland, if I remember right.
Tauchen auf 35 Meter.
So there we go. Let's check. Let's be careful and go back to the surface. Yeah, by the way, is it just a Navy term to call the toilet the head? I think that's a pure Navy term, right? So what does the hydrophone tell us? Okay. They still seem to be relatively close. Two to 5 miles. Might be risky. Hey Colin, great to have you in. Yep, they have given up actually. They have given up. Here there was just one guy asking for the toilet, wanted to have a look at the toilet, and yeah, we went to the toilet. I don't know if you already were in the stream when I did that comment. And yeah, it reminded me of that movie coming from your country, which was Trainspotting. Okay. Hey, come on, we can stop the alarm. I want to have somebody to, yeah, make sure that we don't breach the surface, and the captain is manning the periscope. Very good. So we can have a little look. Yeah, our stern is towards the enemy. There might be somebody somewhere there. Let's see if we...
10 Meter.
Yeah, come on. I'm still a little bit too deep, so let's go to periscope depth, which is not 10 but 8 meters. Yeah, great. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert. Yeah, thank you very much. So there is smoke, but they're... Yeah, let's hope. I think they're all... Yeah, that's the wreckage, the lifeboats, but they are all below the horizon already, so it's completely safe to get back to the surface, I would say. Oh, there is one guy, two guys, and that's a military, so maybe I should be careful and just wait a bit. Let's do a new save game, new stream, new save. So it's W240. And there we go. Yeah, let's wait. Let's be on the safe side. They are not yet hull down. So. The Thunderbox and Clutchy. Nah, didn't hear that. I remember once I tried to read James Joyce, and there I learned a funny term which sounded a bit German for the toilet, and at one point this Mr. Bloom called it, well, or the author called it a cuckstool. Which I found a bit funny because it sounded somehow German. A cuckstool. Like the stool in English, and cuck, yeah, that's more German. To shit, actually, in German. Josh Slocum. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I call myself Josh Slocum. Maybe did anybody of you ever Googled? If you Google Joshua Slocum? So that name is somehow related to naval issues. Does anybody have a guess? Maybe particularly the US guys amongst you might have heard of the guy. Yeah, because he was actually a US citizen. Historical person, something like 130 years ago. Going under the horizon right now. All of them. The merchantmen are still visible, but mainly the masts only. Let's give it somewhat time. Acceleration.
Schraubengeräusch. Kriegsschiff. Peilung 160 Grad.
Hey, come on, they are all hull down now. And also mast down 160. However, I think now it's safe to get back to the surfing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was a professional captain actually, and yeah, he was the first guy to go around the world with a little sloop, which he kind of refurbished by himself, called Spray. Well, no, it was not a sloop, it was a ketch actually. It was a gaff-rigged ketch. Yeah, with a little bizarre, if I pronounced that right in English. So guys, let's get to the surface.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
And yeah, he did that single-handedly. Solo, yeah, as you said.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick up some of these
Kurs setzen.
sailors or help them, give them some food.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, let's not radio our success too early, because they might still pick up our radio signal and triangulate our position.
Schleichfahrt beenden. Kreiselkompass
Yeah.
einschalten.
Okay, so can stop being silent. Now air is rushing back in, but this is so fine. It's not like that instantly as soon as you're at the surface you have 100% air quality, but even it takes a while until you have an exchange of the air. And if you would turn on the ventilation, this would be working much faster. But the ventilation does make a hell of a noise. So where do we have the boats? There they are.
250 Grad.
There are a lot of interactions. 3 wreckages. The big white telephone, yeah. Yeah, okay. So you can have a little discussion with that big white telephone when you had too much booze. Yep. Actually, just yesterday, I was just telling that we are gonna spend New Year or Sylvester with our neighbors, and these neighbors, they were in for coffee. Or well, actually, we had a glass of wine together in the late afternoon yesterday, and they said that their daughter is planning to go for Glasgow. Yeah, she's studying. Don't ask me what, but at the moment she's studying at the University of Heidelberg in Germany, and she is about to plan, or she applied for some exchange program for Glasgow. So what I learned then is that at the moment Glasgow seems to be quite an in place, quite the place to be from German young people's point of view. I just have in mind that it was a hotspot in the 90s for pop and rock, I think. And yeah, as I said, in the 90s, I spent one day in Glasgow, but only one. And I remember on a hiking trip, hiking trip in the Highlands, we met a nice guy from Glasgow. Yeah, if you guys from Twitch are wondering why I am starting to think about Glasgow, there is Colin, who is very regularly in the stream on YouTube, and he is one of the few YouTubers who actually care to do a little bit of chatting. And yeah, he's actually from, Colin, you are not exactly from Glasgow, but somewhere around. And you said your father is actually from Glasgow, right? To be honest, I forgot the place where you're living. I knew the place somehow. I mean, I knew the name, but I think I haven't been there, to be honest. I don't know, was it something like Sterling or?
Kurs setzen.
Colin, yeah. Yeah.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Sorry, yeah, Perth, yep. Yep. Yeah, yesterday when we had the glass of wine with our neighbors, I told them the term of Glaswegian, but they were kind of doubtful about if that could be true. That people from Glasgow call themselves Glaswegians. Yeah, I recommended them to Google it if they didn't believe me. I would be so happy to go back to Scotland. again. This summer holiday we spent in Ireland, and I've never been in Ireland before, but yeah, that was a wonderful holiday, and yeah, I should really convince my family to spend one of our next holidays again in Scotland. Yeah, we are all big fans of hiking, and so from that point of view, also from that point of view, Scotland is the place to be. Yeah, sometimes I love to go to Google Maps and then check Google Maps and zoom in on these places, like where I had been living in Edinburgh. And yeah, all the places, the pubs. Oh wow, hey Lord of Choco, that's great. 2 cruises and 1 battleship. Did you get them all in one rush? Or did it take several attack runs, like going in, firing a few torpedoes, diving away, and then doing another run? Or did you actually manage to fire all your torpedoes on these guys and sink them? I think, yeah, since one of these updates for 3-4 months ago, sinking battleships must have been even more difficult, right? I haven't sinking any since then. You can check my old YouTube videos. I once have sunk a battleship, but that's longer ago. It was before that update, and since then I read that it is much more difficult to sink them because they have additional plating and special kind of torpedo belts around the hull. Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, it's most important thing is fun. So I also did that in the past, now and then. I say that I try to not reload just because a torpedo missed, but when I was really angry about having fired a whole salvo and they all went completely wrong just because I did some kind of typo in the calculation computer, then I also just reload. So I think we are close in, aren't we? There is these, and there should be more around there. Let's check with the binoculars. Okay, there is them. This is one bunch of lifeboats, second bunch of lifeboats, and there is a third one, isn't it? Yep. But let's stop and go for the first. Now, one lifeboat, invite them on board. Yeah, I first want to invite the officers because they give me more reputation if I save them. Of course, that's a bit cynical, but that's how it is. Yeah, I mean, we are doing war here, and war is always cynical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get eight people on board. So sorry, Mr. Taylor, you have to stay back. But I'm gonna give you some food, and so you will get a especially large amount of food So this will give us additional reputation. Lifeboat number 2, give them supplies just as well of our bread. And lifeboat. Here, see, this is the reputation bar and it should be increasing. And I now give this lifeboat also a set of bread. There we are. I don't know, should I? Get canned bread on board. Yes, so there's a float, cargo float, and we can salvage it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard that actually the people from Glasgow are relatively close to the people from Ireland, or put it the other way around, that there are loads of people from Ireland over the centuries, over the decades, who had emigrated or, well, had gone to work for Glasgow. So what I understood is from the Irish people that there is a large community of Irish in Glasgow, and that the relationship between the Scottish and the Irish is relatively close and good. Yeah, let's get the stuff.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Let's get the replacement parts. You never know. By the way, that's us over there in the background.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Bestätige. Ja? Betrachten wir es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And there on the horizon there is still the convoy, but they are moving on. Luckily they didn't spend too much effort on chasing me down.
Sinkendes Wasser. 355 Grad.
Okay, let's stop and see
Alle Maschinen, stopp.
what we get. $10K experience on an officer, yeah, okay. But then you are already completely leveled up, aren't you? I think I never got into that achievement. Yeah, we can't invite them on board. Let's give them supplies. Ah, that's them. So
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Alle Maschinen, stopp. send a diver. Would I really give all these guys supplies? It will cost me a hell of a lot of food. Yeah, a lot of Shoko, but over time you also get these other guys being leveled up. Like, yeah, the engineers when they repair things in the heat of battle. Come on, no, I'm not supplying all these guys with food now.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Kurs setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus. Kurs setzen.
Yeah, let's refuel before we do the big jump back over the pond.
the game. Not 6 o'clock.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, we can't do the full-time acceleration at the moment because that enemy convoy is still too close, but now we can.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Natürlich, Herr Kaloi. Funkraum besetzen.
Yeah, we can man the radio room right now. Yeah, it's night time. So let's report the cute messages. Okay, that's weird. Oh no, it's alright, yep. Yeah, Colin, I actually had the impression that the language is also pretty close. I mean, the Irish accent or dialect of the English language is pretty close to the Scottish dialect or accent, isn't it? I already had that impression back then. While I was living in Stuttgart, I was living in a shared flat for 3 years, and one of my flatmates was a girl from Ireland, actually. And yeah, she didn't have a strong accent, but still. To my ear, the sound of Irish people is pretty close to the sound of Scottish people.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
There we are.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
By the way, never neglect the status of the galley. So that could really get you into trouble, but it's fine. It's just fine. Give it a save. Yeah, wonderful. Look at this wonderful graphics. So the sun is just about to rise. You could say it's pretty late to rise, it's 10 o'clock, but always keep in mind that our chronometer on board is not showing the local time, but the European time. Don't know if it's Berlin or or Greenwich time. But at least we do have a bit of a time difference.
etwas Unterstützung? Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Bestätige.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Bestätige.
Navigation besetzen.
Now it's foggy. It's morning again. The sun is already high up, but yeah, you see this. And even the fog is done beautifully. You really feel the damp air penetrating to your clothes. Yeah, Colin, I would never venture to understand the Gaelic, actually, but when the Scottish guys and the Irish guys, when they speak English, then their accent is pretty close to each other, I would say. And yeah, as I actually, yeah, the origins of my knowledge of the English language, I actually got in Scotland, so as I used to emphasize, I'm not very good at accents and dialects in neither language, neither in German nor in English. But yeah, I somehow think that people from Ireland and Scotland, I understand much better when they start to tend to have, yeah, a bit of an accent or dialect. But yeah, no Gaelic, please. I mean, I find it great that the Gaelic language is still alive, but yeah, just I wouldn't understand any.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Navigation besetzen. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
So here we are in the area where I did place the milk cow. Let's hope that she's still there. It's nighttime. Yeah, and I'm playing Dark Knights, as I sometimes used to emphasize. I'm playing on almost 100% difficulty level, and Dark Knights is part of that. So please, somebody
Etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
man the radio.
Funkraum besetzen. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
So, Mr. Breen, please request resupply.
Funkspruch erhalten.
Okay, we
Herr Kapitän.
got the coordinates. Maybe somebody should turn on the pumps for a little while.
Lenzpumpe einschalten.
Okay, there it is. Let's go there.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ah, that's amazing. Okay, so they are so close. Interesting, yeah.
Station besetzen.
So it's very bad weather. And we should be getting close by now. The supply ship 4 miles.
Torpedorohr
8 o'clock.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet. Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Hi, Chainsaw. Great to have you in. How are you doing? How was your Saturday? Sorry, your Sunday. Of course, I wanted to ask. Okay, there is the first hints of sunrise. But no hint of the German supply submarine.
150 Grad.
350. So it must be there. Yeah, there it is, right? That's him.
Kurs setzen.
There they are. And we are getting close.
Kurs setzen.
And there we are. Let's
Alle Maschinen
stop.
Stopp.
Yeah. Oh, it's rough sea, isn't it? Yeah, wind speed of 20 knots, a thunderstorm going on. So this is really bad conditions to do the resupply maneuver. Okay, you had to work today. Okay, yep. Yeah, so enjoy your evening. And we are gonna give it a save. And now let's check the inventory, particularly the galley, how you would distribute the stores. Yeah, let's see that we get some free space. Meanwhile, the supply situation is not very good, actually.
Navigation besetzen.
Let's send a delegation, which is of chief engineer, first mechanic, and the bosun, and 6 hands. There they go. If it weren't dark, we might see the Zodiac crossing. Hey, no, a chainsaw. It was wonderful. It was a pretty good thing. So
Particularly yesterday, we were pretty successful sinking 3 ships. And yeah, today we were able to successfully evade the escorts of retaliating on us. And yeah, so it was pretty good. We actually did finish the Operation Drumbeat with 200,000 tons to have sunk. Got the items, so there is no need. Let's get the torpedoes before. Okay, this, yeah, pretty good quality torpedoes we have here. That's fine. Fuel, yeah, of course, never forget to refuel. Ammo, we didn't shoot any ammo. Let's get bread on board. Also canned bread if we can get it. It's fine. Maybe I would also like to have some cheese. Here we are. No, 3 days of loading. Fingers crossed that we don't get set up. Hey, not wet, just cold. Hi. Great to have you in. Pretty late already by now, at least around here. But nevertheless great that you drop in. How was your Sunday? Okay, nice set of torpedoes that I get here. Let's go like that and return to the ship. Load the stuff. And here we are.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Now we are gonna head back home. Hey guys, it's a pleasure to see that the number of watches really went up in the last half an hour. So welcome everybody. I see that there are quite some old acquaintances in the chat, but to all you other guys, you're perfectly anonymous. I just see the number going up, so don't hesitate, don't feel observed, and it's perfectly fine if you just lurk. But let me mention that I'm always very happy about getting into contact with people. That's why I do streaming. So don't hesitate to just give me a hi in the chat so that I see that you're there actively, or yeah, some comments on the game, what your status in the game is, what your experience is, or what you think about the stream. So any feedback is warmly welcome. Don't mind backseat driving if you think you know things better than me. That's well possible. Don't hesitate to share. But as I said, perfectly fine if you just lurk. If you want to make a little streamer like me happy, give me a comment in the chat, or maybe even a follow, or like for the YouTube guys, a subscription. Hey, Colin, that's amazing. And Jonathan Swift, at least that's the guy that I knew before. Is he Scottish? Or I think he was Scottish, wasn't he? Or was he Irish? Amazing. That's amazing that you could actually track down your ancestors towards Jonathan Swift. There were quite a few famous guys from Scotland, famous writers also from Scotland. People probably, I mean, at least around here in Germany, most people probably don't know that Stevenson, for example, was Scottish. Ah, okay, Jonathan Swift was Irish, didn't know that.
Navigation besetzen. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Wird erledigt, Herr Kalon.
So one more successful resupply and bring us back to La Rochelle. Okay, along. Which islands do we have there? So this is the Canaries. So this is the Azores, I think, right?
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Endlich ein paar Stunden Pause. Navigation besetzen.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Okay, it's sunrise. Nice. But yeah, pretty rough weather. Quite some swell going on. But look at that, how beautiful. How beautiful that is. The boat going swiftly through the waves like that. Wow, that's really an Atlantic swell. Yeah, I really love that. Imagine yourself being on the bridge, having all the spray coming over you. Whoosh. Hey, Stadler. Nice to have you in. Great. So, well, I would have guessed that you're new, but you don't have this mark that you're the first time in the stream. So it's just like you haven't been in the stream for a while, I guess. Yeah, thanks very much for participating in the chat. Yeah, chainsaw, doesn't it? And that's so immersive. Look at that. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, Stadler, how was your Sunday?
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet. Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Now we are on the way back home after having successfully finished the Operation Drumbeat, as it looks like. Yeah, alright, sounds good. So, in what year are you at the moment? I mean, on the timeline, where are you? In the war? You already have switched to La Rochelle as a base. So probably you are already 1 year into the war. Ah, 2, yeah. 2 years already into the war. That's quite a bit, yep. So I think you could call yourself an experienced captain.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Missing conning tower, whatever that means.
Navigation besetzen.
Okay, you already are with the type 7C. Yeah, that's exactly the type that I'm sailing with, yeah. Oh, good that we checked this. So the worst thing that could happen, I think, is, well, you could be destroyed by that charge, or you could run out of food, which is game over then. Let's give it a save. And allow me to be AFK for just 1 minute. Be back in 60 seconds. Don't go away. Let's enjoy together that experience of getting back home with all these merits. Hey Stadler, I wouldn't have remarked anything about your bad English. It's perfectly fine. And yeah, thank you, by the way, to actually stay to English, because yeah, right away you said you're from Germany, but yeah, I am from Germany just as well, and you might have guessed that from my accent. Pretty sure, but yeah, still, I love to do this on a very international basis, and thing that I love the most about streaming is to get in contact with all of you guys all over the world, and of course also in Germany. But so yeah, I am always pretty thankful for you guys from Germany understanding that and also switching to English. Yeah, I agreed to chainsaw. I also didn't recognize anything problematic. I think it was perfectly fine. Yeah, the translator, yeah. Did I save? I think I did. But better save twice than being sorry. And let's carry on.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Now this is a bit of a chore, but that's what the game is like. So the immersion is of course also kind of, yeah, you have these lengths in the game. This is not a quick action game, it's not a arcade game. You need a bit of patience for it, but you are rewarded with wonderful atmosphere and deep, deep immersion, as far as I would be concerned.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Let's carry on.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kalon. Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kalon. Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, I'm always doing a bit of this micromanagement to make sure that I minimize the fuel usage. And for first and foremost, to make sure that we stick to a high navigation correctness.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah, it does. It does teach you patience. Yeah, so when you don't have the torpedoes anymore, if you run out of torpedoes, well, there's nothing left to do then going back to your base, to a home port, just any actually. I guess you don't have any milk cows yet. Yep.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Navigation besetzen.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Wird erledigt.
Navigation besetzen.
Let's give it a save. So we're just passing through the Azores. I'd hope I do pronounce it correctly. How would you pronounce it in English? Azores, is this correct? In Germany we would say Azoren. Azoren. Yeah, but we tend to pronounce things a little bit more edgy. Yeah, pronounce it harder. I mean, like, sounds like tss, tss, and k. I think there are a few kind of sounds in the German language that are kind of, yeah, feel harder and less soft than in other languages. I think the difference to English is not so large, but if you compare it to French, for example, or Spanish, they are much smoother. Yeah, but I know that also English-speaking people make jokes about how hard the German language sometimes sounds like. If you have these beautiful words like Wiener Schnitzel or Brötchen. I would guess that you would consider these kind of words kind of typically German for this, yeah, hard pronunciation of the consonants.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätigt. Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Oh, there is some issue on board. Yes, they are, aren't they? Anybody who recalls the German punk band from Berlin, Die Ärzte? They had that song where they used the word Brötchen a lot, making fun of it. So, Mr. Hinrich, what's your problem? Officer Harrow Hinrich reports disturbing discoveries in the stores. Most cans of the canned bread appear to have been improperly sealed. They are crimped instead of braised. Okay, whatever that means. Crimped? That's a term that we also have in Germany. And braised? I'm not quite sure what that means, I have to admit. This faulty method has allowed contamination to spoil the content. The food is entirely inedible. This is a serious issue for our ration planning. We must inform BDU about this problem with the supplier radio. Okay, yeah, we are gonna do that. Yeah, what did you say? What year are you? You said it. Let me scroll up. September 41. Yeah, okay, so you're just before the US entering the war, aren't you? Let's check the galley and the stores. Yeah, as we did replenish our stores at the at the milk cow we are pretty fine still. No any problem. No food shortage. Perfectly fine. Hase, yeah, well. But that's not this kind of typically hard sound of the German language, is it? Sounds much softer. Bunny, Hase, yeah.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah, that's always the case. When there are international ships in British convoys, you can always sink them, yeah. But not when they're just on their own. Yeah, you're right about that.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Hey, believe me, guys, how much I really love this. Now, there is really a lot of people in the stream on YouTube as well as on Twitch, and hey, come on, I mean, this kind of gaming and streaming, that really brings the world together, right? I mean, there is so much bullshit going on in the world, and to have us here in such a stream communicating over oceans, over continents, that really gives me some hope that, yeah, maybe we could still live in peace all together one day. Yeah, I don't know. Chainsaw. That would be the big question, which mission to go next. Maybe I would go for one of these missions. There is this one here. That's intriguing. Aruba. Not so fond on what you get for the southern routes. Or another mine laying in Africa. Yeah, I am. Or rescuing that Kriegsmarine official? I really don't know. Hard task to choose the next set of missions. Give it a save. And carry on.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Wird erledigt, Herr Kanoy.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kanoy.
Navigation besetzen.
Uns wurde von einem verbündeten Boot ein mögliches Ziel in unserer Nähe gemeldet.
Yeah, I could sink more ships, but why should I? Hey guys, let's just get back home. Ah, you are in the Black Pit mission. Yeah, okay. So that was actually the one that I finished. So when you have finished the Black Pit mission, you should get your first milk cow. And that opens up all these missions on the US, on the Canadian, on the South American coast, Caribbean. Yeah, that's nice. So you're already pretty deep in the game. So I would call you an old soul, actually. Yeah, I got my first milk cow from the Black Pit. Yep. Yeah, we have to keep in mind that almost exactly in 1 month we are gonna get the update of the Type 9. And although it will be hard to abandon this mission, but I think I'm gonna get that update and then I can't carry on with these saved games and I have to restart a new mission. Yeah, not wet, just cold. Thanks for that little bit of nice emojis. Yeah, of course, I know. It's my favorite since I was a small lad. A wee lad.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, let's give it a save now and then. You never know. Sooner or later you might run into some devastating air raid. That's okay. Amazing emojis. I do have a few emojis there. I actually created a few by myself. I'm not sure if you can access them, all of them. So if you can, please don't hesitate to show me all the variety. Ah, nice. Okay, the moon, the work ahead, the poppy seed flower, and yeah, the bullet and the hello. Yeah, okay. You have them all available. That's great. And of course, my moon, my Josh thingy. Very nice. Very nice to see.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Do we have missing workers in the provision? Oh shit, come on. What is it? Provision issue? Yeah, I didn't radio that. I have to.
Funkraum besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Hey, weight loss. Haven't seen you for the last 2 streams. It's great to have you in. Are you back home or are you still with your family? I actually thought I pissed you off because I was streaming too much DayZ and no U-boat. So I'm very relieved that I have you back in. Yeah, okay. Alright, you're still there. Alright, so I think you're gonna start to stream by yourself again. Yeah, that's very good. So that sounds like that you have a very healthy relationship to your family. Good to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, but I am glad, nevertheless, to have you back for us here.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, we are on the way back. We actually have finished the 200,000 tons of Operation Drumbeat.
Torpedo-Rohr 5 gewartet.
So we are on the final stretch.
Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung 335.
Oh shit, let's give it a save and give it another name, W241. So that's 100% airplanes coming in. So I want you, please, operating the gun. What was 335? So they must be coming in from somewhere there, that direction. Okay. No smoke columns over the horizon, so yeah, usually these reports of radar contacts, they are airplanes. Let's see what we get. Yeah, in the beginning, the first 2 years when I was in the game, I dived away when airplanes were there, but my experience was that on open sea, it's maximum 2 airplanes at a time, usually only 1, and that it is pretty easy to shoot them down. Fingers crossed that it's gonna work like that.
Torpedo-Rohr 2 gewartet.
Yes, yeah. I think that would be a good mod, because if you ask me, it's a little bit too soft. The air raids actually on open sea, they're just too soft, if you ask me. Still don't see them. And if it would be pimped a bit to be more kind of critical, that would be nice. The only real risk that you have is when you are close to a port. Then you have these air raids of something like 6, 7 or 8 airplanes at a time, and that could really be a problem. See, that's what I mean. You just shoot it down that easily. Famous last words, yeah. Yeah, but Yeah, luckily it wasn't. Luckily it wasn't my famous last words. The flag? Yeah, this is if you would use the gun in first person. It would be in the way. But I think it doesn't make any problem when you have them, the flag guns, manned with your officers and let them do the job.
Alarm beenden.
Yeah, they do exactly weight loss. That was ridiculously easy, yeah. So I think this kind of mod, making air encounters a little bit more challenging, that would be just fine. So guys, what is this? Ah, that's just the airplane. I'm gonna ignore it and stop direct orders so you guys can get back to your off-watch. Let's give it a save. A Vickers Wellington. That's a new airplane. That's an airplane that you don't have in the beginning of the war. I'm 100% sure.
Funkraum besetzen.
Yeah, let's report this
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
on the radio. There we go.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Yeah, I think it's the Nexus that I do have. It's a bit of a pain in the ass because whenever you are up there doing observation with the binoculars, they are in the way, blocking your sight. No, Lord of Choco, I never ran into that problem actually. Mouse wheel, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's so great to have all of you guys in the stream. Wonderful. Yeah, but this is, I think, the first time that I ran into one of these. Okay, now there is this rack around, so we can go to full time acceleration. But we're gonna have it back soon.
Schornsteinrauch. Peilung. 270 Grad.
$270, that's just a beam. Oh wow. Come on.
Handelsüberfall. Impulsschiff in Sicht.
That guy is close.
265 Grad.
Let's go for that guy. Maybe that's a target of opportunity.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Let's go like that. Hey Chainsaw, you spotted that one already earlier when we were searching for the airplane? I actually didn't. I missed it. Velocity is probably only 7 knots. That's one of these harmless small ships. Hey, aqua-icing! Haha, great to have you in. How are you doing?
Torpedorohr 2 gewappnet.
The bouncing bomb, Colin? Was it that bomb which actually destroyed these dams in Germany? These bombs who kind of were bouncing on the surface of the water?
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, let's see if we can take down that guy.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
If it's an enemy or friendly or neutral, we will see.
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Yeah, let's go flag speed for now to intercept their way and see what nationality they are. I think this type of ship is not armed. We don't need alarm.
Alarm beenden.
There she is. My guess is that it is this one. We will see, but allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute. Yeah, Colin is in, yeah. Be back in a minute. One more 60 seconds. Be back in a minute.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Alright guys, here I am back again. Do I have black smoke? Yeah, you're right. So I'm never sure. What would I have to do to apply that oil? Probably I would have to equip it to one of my engineers, right? And then lubricant. Yeah, okay, so all my engineers have other stuff in their hands. So I would like to just ignore it for now. In principle, you're right. This makes me much more visible. But right now I think it just doesn't matter. The Heizergruß, yeah. Okay, yeah, there. Yeah, let's see. Does it go away? Oh, let's see. If I go to halbe Fahrt, switches back to gray smoke. Yeah, I had these red jugs with me. I just don't have any engineer with hands free to do it. Yeah, here my chief engineer, Mr. Grade. Yeah, he already has. In the one hand, he has this air thingy breathing apparatus, and in the other hand, he has the spare parts. So I would have first to make his hands free,
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
and let's just keep it like that. No, so we go to flank speed, and flank speed gives me the black smoke. Does it always give me the black smoke? Independently of lubrication? I have to admit I always ignored it up to now. Yeah, right? If you had that event. Yep. Yeah, same for me. I only had that one time. And I've been playing so many hours, so this event is pretty improbable. And for this very improbable event, I'm carrying around 40 pieces of these oil jugs with me. Yeah, right. Yep. Lord of Choco, same for me, yep. Only happened one time. Yeah, probably, yeah. So good point. I think it would be reasonable to just not having that stuff with you at all. It's just blocking inventory slots.
Feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
Unseren Mut zu testen.
Okay, it's British.
Kurs setzen.
So, Mr. Drummer, would you be so kind and man the gun? Let's see if we can hunt that guy down.
Funkraum besetzen.
Report that sighting. It's British.
Telegramm gesendet.
Yeah, that's a beautiful opportunity to sink that lone ship there.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Okay. Hold fire still. Let's get closer. Let's get closer. Einzelfahrer, yeah. Yeah, right. Single rider, yeah. Yeah, this is one of the very basic transport ships, so I think I don't run risk of, yeah, that they have any armament. It's the one, isn't it? Yeah, let's try to just sink it. Angle on bow, we can give it a guess. Maybe like that. Now distance.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 2,019 Meter. Gegnerlage 4,7 Bug links.
Yeah, it will. It will. That's the nice thing about things like this here. I think it's nice practicing the English language, isn't it? So when I came from school, my English was very basic to non-existing. And so over the years I was forced or voluntarily I exposed myself to a lot of English language, and well, over the years it was just continuously improving, and now I think it's okay-ish. You think, Colin, you think they might have one gun aboard? I would have guessed that these kind of ships don't have any gun. But let's see, you never know, maybe they have some hidden artillery. I think it's time to open fire. Let's give it a save. Yeah, we just have very limited ammunition on board. So go for it. That was a hit. No hit. A lot of misses.
Halten Feuer!
And that was a hit. Another hit.
Halten Feuer! Halten Feuer!
Come on, guys.
Halten Feuer!
Yeah, come on. Can't believe that they take all that fire.
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Feuer einstellen.
Out of ammo. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah. We are out of the gun ammo. We only have 30 rounds.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs setzen. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Okay, alright. Yeah, it's getting late, but I think maybe I'm gonna do another 20 minutes.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Winkel 6 rechts. Aktualisieren. Entfernung 4, 8, 2 Meter. Gegnerlage 9, 2, Bug links. Rohr 3, bewässern.
Depth 8.9.
Aktualisieren. Winkel 1, 1, 1, Bug links.
So I have the bosun at the torpedo calculator.
Los! Rohr 2 bewässern. ...40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Ja.
That's the sound-seeking guy. I think I forgot to turn on the correct depth. Let's see.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag. Fehlschuss.
It's just because my distance estimation was wrong. But it might still be a hit. Let's just hope that it's not a dot. Then it's pretty shallow. Just small damages.
Kurs setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, it did hit, but yeah, I didn't put the depth correctly. Yeah, but in this case, I think it was my fault. I just didn't choose the depth correctly.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Rohr 3 geladen.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Okay, they are at least getting low in the water at the bows. Maybe they are sinking. It will be court-martialed, yeah. Yeah, they do call in, yeah. They should be taking water from the deck on hits, yeah.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, it's a bit of a patience game, but we should be able to sink them like that. Yeah, that's what I pretty much love about, since particularly it was already fine before, but particularly since this update you have this feeling that there is really physics behind the sinking mechanics of the merchantman. Yeah, she is going down at the bows, yep. Okay, it was underwhelming. Yeah. Amazing.
Kleine Fahrt, voraus.
Hey, come on. Still want to sink that guy. Yeah, right. The rudder is coming up.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, they are going down, aren't they?
Kleine Fahrt, voraus. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, we just can keep fingers crossed they are not calling in air support. Okay. I've sent the message that I intend to sink the ship and they abandoned the ship. So it could have been so easy. It could have been so easy. Communication is always the key.
Alle Maschinen, stopp!
Just ram it. Yeah, well, you're always more the tough guy for the straightforward solutions, acquiescing, but no, come on, I don't dare to ram it. Yeah, we could get over there and finally sink it. Shall we do that? Give it a save and then let's go for the adventure and send a boarding team over there. They are actually sinking already. Is there an achievement? Scuttle without using explosives. There we are.
Hüllenbruch, sie
Perfekt.
sinken.
Einer weniger.
Alright, got that one. And let's carry on.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Hey, removed koala. Nice to have you in. How are you doing?
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
From Missouri, yeah, great to have you in. So what's your time actually? My time is 3:15 in the night. So I guess you would be something like 6 or 7 hours earlier.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Navigation besetzen.
Hey, Stadler, yeah, nature demands its rights. So it was a pleasure to have you in. So would be glad to have you back in again. And not quite sure. I think you are already following me, aren't you? If not, of course, I would be glad you would. But I think you are. 8, okay, 8 p.m., yep. Yeah, I'm in the stream now since something like 3 hours. Almost 3 hours, actually. So local time started around midnight. And now it's 3:15 around here.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Navigation besetzen.
Hey, D Savant. DS, great to have you in. Wasn't aware that you were with us. But yeah, thanks for the feedback. That's just great to have you with us. Hey, removed caller. I think I'm gonna do some streaming today, but maybe it might be that I do something else. So my main U-boat streaming days is Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and today it's also Sunday night, and maybe tomorrow I'm doing something else. But now that you ask if there is a large community which like to watch U-boat, maybe I would also do U-boat tonight, tomorrow night. Well, from my point of view, it's tonight, Monday evening. And yeah, it's just great to have so many people in the stream. So this is really kind of reassuring to maybe better do a U-boat. Yeah, U-boat. Thank you very much. All right. Was a pleasure to have you, Stadler. See you and have a good night.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Funkmesssignale geortet. Peilung
Alarm.
95
Flugzeug in
Grad.
Sicht.
Eure
Peilung
Ausbildung bleibt ruhig und
35 Grad.
konzentriert. Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.
Okay, let's give it another save. 242. Where are they? Yeah, open fire, please do. Did we get them? Okay, this time it looks... They are not getting him. They are not. What's the ammo status? We might run out of ammo sooner or later. Why don't they hit? Why don't they hit that guy? Yeah, we still have some ammo left. Come on, get the guy. Get him. Get him. Why are they not getting that? Fuck. What's the matter? Come on. Usually they get these guys so easily. What's the matter with you? Are you drunk? I fear that soon they are soon running out of ammo. Probably they have run out of ammo.
Feindliches Flugzeug erfolgreich abgeschossen.
Okay, we got that guy, but that was kind of a pain, was it? There he goes. Yeah, good pilot, yeah. I never had so much trouble in shooting down one of these guys. No rockets yet, yeah. Yeah, the crew is looking for hidden flaws.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Alles klar, ich werde mich darum kümmern.
Any damages? Obviously not. Obviously not. Let's give this safe. They were good. they were much better than all the other airplanes that we had before. Yeah, Stadler, you're right. Hey, yippee yap, nice to have you back in. Yeah, so I'm glad I'm still there, but yeah, I really should go to bed soon. But, so it was worthwhile to stay awake to still see you back in the stream. Yeah, yippee yap was in the stream already, something like an hour ago. But you went out, and glad to have you back. La Rochelle or bust. Yep. We have almost no ammo left.
Alarm beenden.
And there we go.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
La Rochelle or bust. Yeah, or La Rochelle or breast. Nah, never breast. Breast is, yeah, the approach is so shallow. And there is no air shelters. So usually I would never go for breast. Lorient, yeah. Donuts Villa, yeah.
Navigation besetzen.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Bestätige.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Navigation besetzen.
Give it a save, you never know what happens when we are coming in close to port. Yeah, you're right. Let's man the radio
Besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
and send these messages. Yeah. Hey, we got the R from weight loss when he came in. Save often and plenty, yeah.
Funktelegramm gesendet. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ja? Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
So now we are closing in on our home port.
Herr Kaloi, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
Yeah, of course. So give it a save and give me 1 minute to be AFK. the Alberich coating. So Alberich is one of the dwarves from the from that old legend. Was there a coating called after him? Yeah, Alberich, he was one of those dwarves of the Ring of the Nibelungen, wasn't he?
Kurs setzen.
There we are going in. It's night time. Alright guys, before we go in, let me be AFK for 1 minute. Be back in 60 seconds. Okay, amazing. A snack break. Yeah, let's see what we get. Yeah, indeed, guys, I needed a little late night snack before getting into port. And there we are, getting in. It's just some roll. Some roll and cheese. No Frankfurter, although I work at Frankfurt. Right now, it's just half of a roll and some cheese.
Halbe Fahrt, voraus.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
There we are, getting back in. Go to kleine Fahrt. Yes. The Royal Air Force wouldn't be flying in yet. Yep. You're completely right. Yeah, I love the atmosphere of these lighthouses. Yep. And that mast of the radar detection system, right? That's a pain in the ass. Yeah, but all the complaining, still the game is great, isn't it? So all the respect for the developers. They've done a wonderful job. Of course, there is potential for doing things better, but the game is already great. Yeah, so hey YouTube guys, Yippee App is giving you best regards from Twitch. Yeah, Lord of Choco, good night. I'm also only going back to port and then I am going to bed just as well. It's so late around here. But I just want to bring the boat back to port. Is it gonna work? There we are coming in. Hey, removed koala? Didn't quite get your question. But I'm definitely for sure I'm gonna do another stream tonight. Just not yet quite sure whether I'm going to do the U-boat. But yeah, after all these requests, I think I will, yep. Yeah, for me it's always something like 12 o'clock. Local European time here. German time, 12 o'clock. Probably not earlier.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So here we are. Back home. Yeah, but yeah, great that you ask. So, my streams always start something like, 12 o'clock. Sometimes half an hour earlier, sometimes half an hour later. Local Berlin time. Hey, what do you mean, yip yap? Bye. You speak very proper, like it's a job interview? Yeah. You mean that I am doing some diplomatic answer, saying no, neither yes nor no? For the Missourians, yep. So let's give it a final save. Here we are. Mission completed. Reported back to the officer. The Vickers. Now what about Mr. Trommel, our bosun? And the captain, yeah, of course, he did the main thing about sinking. "40 war patrols. And here we are, Unternehmen Paukenschlag. Operation Drumbeat complete. Alright, we sank. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, in total. Wow. 50 something, almost 55 tons sunk on that campaign. Pretty amazing. All these ships, yeah, great. Good job. Hey DS, yeah, sleep well. Was a pleasure to have you in. So, removed vodka, don't hesitate. Just ask any more questions. How do you access the video on Twitch? To be honest, I don't quite know what you mean with that question. I mean, how you as a viewer would access it, or how I as a streamer would? Crew specialization point gained. So get 1 specialization point here. Maybe I would like to have the crew do some silent running. Mr. Sparfeld, you're gonna be my silent running expert, my next one. Yeah, but you are actually in the stream, removed koala. You are already in the video. So. And I think if you would go onto my screen, onto my site on Twitch, you would also see my old videos, I think. So to be honest, I don't quite see the problem. Okay, best regards, you say something what people usually wouldn't say. What would you say instead? Now, guys, give it a final save. And yeah, so great. So many viewers on Twitch and also on YouTube. Although, yeah, of course, the chat on YouTube is always pretty limited, and I'm so glad that I have Colin there. But for the wonderful chatting, I love you, my Twitch community. Just great to have you. Yeah, see you guys. Have a good night.